I was at the airport gate, one step away from boarding the flight I had waited years for. And then I saw him. An old man, slumped over, barely breathing. Everyone walked past him like he was invisible. The gate agent made the last call. If I helped him, I'd miss my flight and everything I had worked for. If I didn't, he'd die alone in a cold, crowded terminal. I froze, and the choice I made still haunts me. Have you ever had to choose between your future and a stranger's life? This is the story of how I faced that impossible decision and how I still don't know if I did the right thing. Stick around until the end, and then tell me honestly, what would you have done? My name's Kareem, and for most of my life, I had only dreamed of leaving my country. Not to escape, but to grow, to make something of myself, to finally be seen. After 4 years of working days as a delivery guy and nights as a freelance editor, I landed a scholarship, a full ride to a graduate program in Canada. My flight? July 3rd, Karachi to Toronto. Non-refundable, one-time visa entry. If I missed that flight, the scholarship was gone. The dream was gone. I had packed 3 days early, double-checked documents, said goodbye to my mom with tears in my eyes and her dua echoing in my heart. This was my chance, my everything. Jinnah International Airport was packed that morning. I was early, 2 hours early. After checking in, I grabbed a tea from the food court. As I walked toward my gate, I saw him, an old man, maybe 70s, dressed in a plain white shalwar kameez, sandals on his feet, sitting slumped on a bench, head tilted to the side, mouth slightly open. Something felt off. Everyone else kept walking. Some glanced, some even stepped around him like he was a stain on the floor. I slowed down. He wasn't moving. I walked up. "Uncle, are you okay?" No response. I reached out and touched his shoulder. Cold. Not lifeless, but cold. I waved down a cleaner. "This man needs help." The guy shrugged, probably just tired. I bent lower, checked his breath, shallow. His eyes fluttered, skin pale. This wasn't tired. This was something serious. I ran to the security booth, told them we needed medical help. They radioed someone, told me help was on the way. I looked at the screen above the gate. Final call, gate A6, Toronto. My heart dropped. I had maybe 5 minutes left. If I left now, I could board. If I stayed, I might lose everything. I looked at the old man again. He whispered something. I leaned closer. "Mutja, please don't leave me." I froze. I remembered my mother telling me as a child, if someone is suffering and you can help, Allah put you there for a reason. But another voice screamed louder. "If you miss this flight, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. You earned this." The security guards didn't seem in a rush. No urgency, no medics yet. The old man gripped my wrist, weak but firm, his eyes pleading. People were boarding. They called my name on the speaker. "Final call for Mr. Kareem. Gate A6 closing in 1 minute." 1 minute. I looked at the man, then the gate. Man, gate, dream, life. What the hell was I supposed to do? In that moment, I flashed back to years ago. I was 10. My father collapsed in a market. No one helped. I sat there screaming for someone to stop, someone to care. He died on the sidewalk, alone, because no one wanted to miss their bus. And now, here I was, in someone else's story. I had become the stranger with the choice. I heard the boarding door click shut. I had waited too long, and I stayed. I stayed with the old man. After 15 more minutes, medical staff finally arrived. They said he'd had a minor stroke, that if he'd been left unattended much longer, he might not have made it. They took him in a wheelchair. One of the paramedics said, "If you hadn't stayed, he'd probably be dead." I nodded, but inside, I was breaking. I sat there and cried. My flight was gone. My scholarship? Maybe too. My mother called, hopeful, asking how it went. I couldn't answer. 3 days later, I got an email from the university. I expected rejection, disappointment. Instead, we were informed by a passenger who saw your actions at the airport. We'd like to offer you the same scholarship for the winter session. You showed the kind of compassion we want in our students. I stared at the screen, shaking. The old man? Had he remembered? Or was it someone else? It didn't matter. I got another chance. And this time, I flew. If I had boarded that flight, maybe I'd have made it to Canada, built a life. But every time I passed a stranger in need, I'd wonder if I had blood on my hands. If I hadn't stayed, that man might have died, alone, in pain, surrounded by silence and indifference. But because I stayed, I helped save a life, and my dream waited. Sometimes doing the right thing feels like losing, but maybe it's the only kind of victory that matters. Now I'm asking you, honestly, what would you have done? Would you have boarded that plane and walked away? Or would you have stayed and risked everything for a stranger? Let me know in the comments below, because sometimes the real test doesn't come with a warning.